So the Eagles choked away a 2-0 start last night, and everyone's pointing fingers. But here why Saquon Barkley, he's not blaming anyone but himself, and why Jalen Hurts thinks A.J. Brown's injury is still a major blow. Plus, Bryce Huff and Jalen Carter, they comment on the defensive line's laughable performance, while Darius admits a critical mistake on the final drive. It's a rough Tuesday, Eagle fans. I'm Thomas Mott. This is the Thomas Mott Show. On a night where you had Jason Kelce's electric return to the Linc on Monday Night Countdown, plus the legend himself, Nick Foles, coming home and being honored at halftime, throwing Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley honestly putting on a show most of the night, it all seems irrelevant this morning as the Birds blew a 97.6% chance to go 2-0 with a critical play call and subsequent drop by Saquon Barkley that essentially cost the Eagles the game. But I'll say this, it's not all Saquon's fault. Don't forget, the Eagle defense got shredded all night long, giving the Birds their now 2-7 record over their last 9 games, and hoping to remind us all just how bad the end of last year was. Still though, I'll try and help ease the pain this morning by giving away one of my brand new t-shirts to a subscriber who drops a like in this video. Just go down in the comment section and tell me what's really wrong with the Eagles. Your biggest takeaway from last night is this blank is the biggest issue. Let me know down below. I'll pick one of you guys later on this week to win one of my new shirts. Now, all this bad was compounded pregame with A.J. Brown telling ESPN he does expect to miss a couple of weeks with this new hamstring injury. And with the undefeated Saints and still undefeated Bucks up next, things could get very interesting without the Birds' superstar wide receiver out there on the field. Although, if you watched the Birds' first offensive drive, you saw Jahan Dotson getting a nice touch here for a first down. But if you were like me and thinking, okay, here comes Jahan Dotson, you gave up a third-round draft pick, he's going to have an absolutely incredible night, well, you'd be completely wrong. Dotson was never targeted again in the entire game despite playing over 50 snaps throughout the entire 4 quarters. Absolutely unacceptable. Still though, Barkley was eating early, averaging over 9 yards per carry the first few drives, but after a failed third down attempt in the red zone, Sirianni would choose to go for it and I guess subsequently pay the price by leaving points on the board and what would turn out to be a critical early mistake. Still though, hindsight, it's 2020. If the Eagles get a touchdown there, we're all looking back and calling Nick Sirianni a genius. My big coaching mistake on that early drive was not giving Saquon Barkley a single red zone touch after he was the one that got you down there in the first place. Flip over to the defense, and the Falcons' first drive should really have been the main indicator. Look at these wide open receivers, massive running lanes, absolutely terrible. But a third down red zone stop held Atlanta to 3, and all seemed fine at least early on. Hurts would then hit Smitty to start the ensuing drive, and then show off the legs multiple times, including how about this gutsy drive for a first down on 3rd and 11 to set up a 1st and goal. 2 plays later, and Hurts was dealing, throwing a dart to Devontae Smith, and gosh, this offense, again, all last night looked pretty darn good. I know Hurts made a critical mistake at the end of this game. We're going to talk about it, but I don't think you can blame any of this on QB1 last night. I think if anybody had a really, really good night, it was Jalen Hurts until that final throw. Now, quickly, I'm curious, did you happen to enjoy any sort of cold beverages during the Eagles game the other night? Did you regret the fact that you not only had a cold beverage, but stayed up way too late watching Monday Night Football and then woke up the next morning not feeling your best? Well, I have a way to help you enjoy the game going forward and not hate yourself the next morning with channel sponsor ZBiotics. ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol is the world's first engineered probiotic, invented by PhD scientists that help you break down the toxic byproduct alcohol becomes in the gut, which is the reason why you wake up feeling bad, not dehydration, by the way, using enzymes. All you have to do is drink one of these ZBiotics before the next Eagles game and before your first drink during that Eagles game, and you'll wake up feeling so much better. Now, by now, you might have heard of ZBiotics, but you haven't tried them yet. Now is your chance. Just go to zbiotics.com/Thomas Mott or use the QR code. I think it's somewhere right over here on your screen to get 15% off your first order when you use my promo code Thomas Mott at checkout. You can also sign up for a ZBiotics subscription using my code. That way, you're always prepared for a fun night of Eagles games and then work the next day. ZBiotics is backed by a 100% money-back guarantee, so if you're not satisfied for literally any reason, you're gonna get your money back, no questions asked. Remember, just head to zbiotics.com/Thomas Mott and use promo code Thomas Mott at checkout for 15% off your next order. Big shout out to ZBiotics for sponsoring today's video. The real problem for me was back on the field on the Falcons' next drive as Philly's defense continued, this is a really theme the entire night, to be shredded in every way possible. We're talking 0 pass rush, 0 run-stopping ability. Honestly, did they do really anything that great last night? And honestly, at this point, I gotta ask, do the Eagles have a pass rush? Do they have a decent defensive line at all? Bryce Huff, through 2 games now, has 1 assisted tackle and 0 other stats. 1 assisted tackle and literally 0 other stats. He's been absolutely non-existent, and how about right here, getting stonewalled by a tight end. He can't even get past a tight end in pass protection. Post-game though, Huff, how about a nice typical I need to be better sort of answer, which I'm sure you're gonna love listening to here on a Tuesday morning.
I just need to get my ducks in a row as far as what my process is on the edge. Not be so antsy just to burn the edge, know that I have to sit on my rushes with power. I need to work with my guys on the inside to get more pressure with a switch up, whether it's a game or a stun or some type of play that we can run to mix it up. I just need to do a better job in general of being locked in and being able to, I guess, offset what they've been trying to do with the chips and just do a better job in general.
$17 million. $17 million for somebody with basically 0 stats, 0 impact, and honestly, it doesn't look like it's going to get much better. But still, it's not just Bryce Huff. It's the entire defensive line. He was only sacked 1 time, and now you have Josh Sweat saying post-game, quote, "We're not on the same page, man. We got to be together. Ain't on the same page. That's all I can say. We're just not rushing together." Oh, man, we made this excuse last week that the field was the problem, but that's done for. This Eagle defensive line so far is just simply downright atrocious. When 36-year-old Brandon Graham is your best pass rusher, even he knows you have some serious issues going forward.
Just, I feel like when we watch the film, we're going to see. It's like little things that's going to pop up where maybe this guy needed to rush inside instead of going up the field and then having a big lane for the quarterback to step up and throw or whatever. Because we knew Kirk was going to be standing there. It was more about collapsing the pocket, with him. That's what we seen. What happened with Pittsburgh last week? It was collapsing the pocket, not making it easy for him, and we didn't do that as good this game.
Now, after halftime, things would be no different to start quarter number 3 as Atlanta, yet again, walked right down the field. Thankfully, though, the Eagles would get their lone sack here by Milton Williams and force a field goal by Atlanta, which also made me realize we saw Milton Williams, Moro Jomo, and UDFA Thomas Booker play a ton last night on the D-line, which is a terrible look for Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. Like, where are the supposedly anchors of this interior defense? I love Jalen Carter. I think he can be great, but let's be honest, he's been non-existent the past 2 weeks, and especially non-existent last night to the point you go, okay, when are you going to turn into that player we heard about all training camp long as being this explosive year 2 dominant superstar? I mean, I guess he seemed a little bit upset with his performance in the locker room. Does that make up for it? You tell me.
Very frustrating. No game is perfect for me. No game is good for me. I always got a higher standard for myself and what I want to do. If I have a game where I have 3 sacks, why not 6? You feel me? So that's just my mindset with it.
Now, down 2, Hurts and the offense would move the ball, again, very, very well. They were doing it all night. How about a beautiful throw in the run to Devontae Smith, the highlight of this drive? But then, a couple plays later, good play by the Falcons safety to make Smitty drop what would have been a touchdown, ripping 6 points off the board, and causing the Birds to settle for another field goal, making their red zone trips in this game a turnover rundowns, a touchdown, and then this field goal. I think Smitty was great last night. 1 touchdown, could have been 2, but this offense desperately needs A.J. Brown back. Clearly, besides Britton Covey, there's no other serious receiving threat on the outside for Philadelphia, and honestly, post-game, Jalen Hurts admitted it's going to be an issue.
Did A.J. getting hurt late in the week, did that change the game plan much? Did you guys have to readjust?
Obviously, he's one of the best receivers in the league. Of course. He's definitely missed, but it doesn't change the trust that I have in everybody else to step up. And I think we had, guys step up in a big way. Covey made some great plays out there. Smitty made plays. We just didn't meet the moment in terms of, it wasn't for us tonight.
Now, on the next Falcons drive, Atlanta would convert an easy 4th and 4, not even a problem. And then on the lone 0 blitz of the night, how about C.J. Gardner-Johnson being absolutely abused by Darnell Mooney to surrender a big touchdown? Still, after a failed 2-point attempt, Hurts and company would march right down the field, brotherly shoving their way for a 4th down and 1 conversion. And then how about this big quarterback run to set up an Eagle tush push for a touchdown to take the lead? And then also, how about the 2-point conversion here? The effort by Saquon Barkley, everything was going right, at least up to this point. But then in classic Eagle fashion from last year, they couldn't seal the deal and craziness would ensue. Philly's defense would get a stop, 4th down and 1 on their own 40. They get the stop you need. Credit C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Give the ball back to your offense with 5:43 left in this game. And the offense would, what do you know, march right down the field, get into the red zone, and then here we go, the play everyone's talking about, 3rd down and 2. All you need is a 1st down. Play action to steal the game. Oh, Saquon dropped a perfect pass. I think Peyton Manning's reaction was all of ours. Like, how could you drop a perfectly thrown ball that was literally the game winner? We'd be 2-0 right now. Now, I know the logic here is to scream, run the ball, Thomas. Like, all you got to do is manage the clock, and I agree, but come on, if Saquon catches this pass right here, we're all talking about the brilliance and the guts of the Eagles coaching staff. A perfect play call here on 3rd down and 2. They never saw it coming. For what it's worth, I guess credit to Saquon Barkley, who took the blame as only a leader could in his post-game presser.
Dropped the ball. Let my team down today. Shouldn't have the defense in that position. Made that catch, game's over. Relax, went back to my old habits, and just gotta go back and get back to work.
Were you surprised with the play call? Did you expect a running play? Or
no, once I knew it, I thought it was a great play call. I just gotta make the catch.
I need your thoughts on that play call down below. Like, I just cannot believe he dropped it. And I know, run the ball, run the clock out. That's the main thing we're all talking about this morning, but I'm with Jalen Hurts. It's the right call. It's just poor execution.
Tough loss. We'll learn from it. You know, I trust him every day of the week to make a play, just like everybody else. And so we'll be better from it. It's not a matter of expectations. It's just a matter of executing what's called. And came up short in that moment.
Now, nobody asked Sirianni in his press conference if Nick went ahead and made the call to throw or if he just told Kellen Moore to go for it and let him make the play call. Who knows? But either way, the head coach stood behind the decision late in the football game. He admits it's the right call. They just didn't execute.
Nick, what was your thought process on the 3rd and 3 call on the pass? And on that play, is there a mechanism where Jalen just sits down, takes the sack, if that's not wide open?
Yeah, definitely. You know, we wanted to. They were running a certain defense and junking it up in the middle. So we're trying to go around the outside, and you know, it didn't work.
What was your thought pattern there on going kicking the field goal on 4th and 3? Did you think about going for it?
You know, again, in that scenario, I was thinking they might not have any timeouts there, but obviously they did with the incomplete pass. You know, that would have came down to maybe a minute, and so we wanted to go up 6 points. You know, and it didn't work. So, you know, the decision to pass it there, again, like I said, you know, where they were junking it up inside, with it being 4th and 3 to go for it, I thought, you know, with them not having any timeouts, I wanted them to be down a touchdown and see if they could drive the field, and they did. Hats off to them.
Now, despite all of that, the Eagles can still win the game. One stop, Kirk Cousins, no timeouts, and yet, what did you expect? He marched right down the field, Swiss cheese Vic Fangio's defense, which would then set up basically the easiest game winner on 3rd and 5 you'll ever see. Shout out to Darius for looking in the backfield and getting cooked by Drake London on this out route. He just can't go for broke here, big play Slay. I know, big play, you want to get an interception, I get it, but just play your man, stop him short. Something that I guess even Slay, to his credit, did admit was his big mistake in his postgame presser.
Oh, very disappointed. Definitely with myself at the end of that game. Yeah, I'm hurt with that one, man. That's for sure my fault. Eyes in the backfield. Just trying to do more than I should have been doing.
Now, of course, despite the Saquon drop and then the terrible defense, you still had 2 timeouts and enough time to get in a field goal range for a Jake Elliott game winner. Like, the game was still right in front of you. And Hurts got the drive going with this nice throw to Dallas Goedert, but then just pressing way too much, throwing into double coverage and sealing the game with this just absolutely terrible Falcons interception. Now, I said at the beginning, Hurts was the MVP all night long, but why are you taking a shot when all you need is, what, 15, 20 more yards for a 60-yard field goal for Jake the Make Elliott? It's just inexcusable, and Jalen knows it.
Just trying to make a play down the field. He made a good play. I threw it a little too long. Just gotta continue to prepare in those situations and put ourselves in those positions so we can take advantage of it. I think. I think in the end, I felt very prepared. You know, going into those moments. In that moment, we just didn't Just won our time. It went for us.
I'm really trying to be positive today. It's just so hard, right? I know you can beat the Saints next week. It's only 2 weeks in. Things can change. It's going to be fine. But the ghosts of last year are not gone. They're still in the closet. The skeletons are still falling out whenever the Eagles are trying to seal a game in the fourth quarter. All you had to do was convert that 3rd and 2. All you had to do was get a stop on defense. All you had to do was go down and kick a field goal. And they failed all 3 times. 3 strikes and you're out. And you just look at the major problems on this football team and wonder, can you fix them fast enough to not get blown out by the New Orleans Saints? And listen, I know Nick Sirianni's getting ripped up and down all over social media, maybe rightfully so. Again, we mentioned going for it early in that game, not kicking a field goal, the play call late in that game when you should have just ran the ball. I know, I hear it, but I still go back to this defense led by Vic Fangio that was promised to be different from last year. And honestly, that game looked maybe worse than some of the even worse parts of the Eagle defense in 2023. If this team can't stop the run or get pressure, you're going to struggle all season long because you're going to have to play perfect offense. You're going to have to score 34 points or else you're going to lose. And if that's the case, they're going to struggle a lot more than I think even myself could have realized even just a couple of weeks ago. Now, again, I want your thoughts in the comment section. Make sure you're a subscriber. The way you can enter to win one of the new t-shirts. I mean, this thing is absolutely sweet. Both logos on the side. It's a small consolation for going through what you did last night, but I'll pick one of you guys coming up here in a video the next couple of days. Plenty more coverage. The defense has got to be better. That's my main focus this week. We'll talk to you guys in the next one. I'm Thomas Mott. 1-1. It feels like we're 0-2, but 1-1 here on a Tuesday morning. This has been the Thomas Mott Show.